Hello, my friends, and welcome to something that's totally different. Something that I need to share with those who've known me over the years and those who know me longer. For those who don't know who I am, well, my name is Izzy, short for Israel. I don't mention my actual name very often because my name is that powerful in all sense of the word. So, this is a bearing of the soul kind of video because for those who don't know my whole backstory, or those who wonder why I am the way I am, sit back. This is going to take a while to talk about. So, for those who know me, I live here in California for 42 years. I've went across the U.S. since I was a baby. The only places I've ever gone to were Louisiana, Texas, and Connecticut. The only reason why is because in Texas and Louisiana, I have family, as well as in Connecticut. What I had to go through my entire life, and sad to say, I've never been taken care of properly, is I have what is known as cerebral palsy. And cerebral palsy, for those who don't know, really does affect your way of thinking, as well as your way of movement. I've been dealing with this for 42 years, basically all my life. Well, being quite honest, I dealt with it for like 38 years. That's as far back as I can remember. And let me tell you, it's not been easy trying to manage throughout those years without any sort of help, professional help, on a personal and private level. My parents didn't know what to do with me. To be all honest, I mean, I've been taken in for checkups and whatnot. But as far as anything else was concerned, as far as getting my benefits and perks as a disabled person, I've never really got that. The problem was, recently, the severity of my condition, that having cerebral palsy is not enough. You gotta be damn near cut apart just to get something more to your benefits, like financially and whatnot. And it has been very rough. For those who don't know, we've lost someone very close to us in the family, the old man, in which most of you have heard of. The man who cooks, the man who makes feet. Yeah, the man who cooks with feet is long gone. He passed away in March, borderline April. this year. Before anything else happened, I had a second glimpse of what happened with my mom. Basically, she died with Alzheimer's. And on a secondary note, heart attack. But I think for the most part, it was Alzheimer's. He too had passed away with that. Because not only did he have Alzheimer's, but he was on dialysis. One of his kidneys just, it was getting no good, and it was affecting him physically as well as mentally. I've not talked about this since. And let me tell you, surrounding him, I don't know what the hell was going on. I mean, there was mixed blood all over, you know. There were various hints of bad blood, as well as there was various hints of good blood, you know. And I mean the people he affected in his life. It basically was, you know, a real mixed bag. And I know what some of you may think, talking ill of the dead. No, I'm not talking ill of the dead. It's just something that I haven't really got off my chest because everything had been going on, and quite frankly, I'm actually scared. I've been pressured, and I can just feel this pressure on me, over me, for the last couple of months. It has been like 1, borderline 2 months. And mind you, I've been anchoring this entire time what funding that was coming in, taking care of whatever bills that were coming in the entire time. And at this point in time, you know, I'm waiting to do these voiceover commercials and these parts for video games and movies and such. I've been in voiceover for about, on a professional level, 2 years. When I started doing Let's Plays, that was in 2010. And that was probably the first time I've actually ever spoke. Like, you know, me speaking. But, you know, me actually listening to my own voice. That, in itself, basically is quite a long time. And at the same time that I'm doing this, I'm also doing a book during the time that I was doing YouTube. You know, I've been on YouTube since 2006. But since then, it's like, well, 2011, I did a book. And nobody knows about it. Because basically, there are not many people who actually buy books. They either do audiobooks, or they get one for Kindle and take it from there. Nobody really buys, you know, hard copies anymore. It's always digital in some shape or form. Growing up with a disability has been so very difficult. And I've learned I have two. One is cerebral palsy, the one you already know, and the second one is a mental one called epilepsy. Now, people don't understand what petite mal is. So, it means it's a small seizure. And what I also found out is that this small seizure can be triggered by certain levels of stress. Now, you're looking at me, you think there's nothing wrong with me. Oh, there's plenty going on with me that's wrong. Namely, that I, for one, pissed at myself when I was a child. And it happened in school. And I don't know what happened. I just blanked totally right out. I was sent home after that. And then, a couple of years I tried taking medication like Depakote. Depakote only did the phone, which has set me all the way off. It's supposed to control it. It didn't. It tried to, but it didn't. The only thing I can do now, me, 42 years old, I've lost plenty. Since 2018, I've lost an artery due to a heart attack. I've been under severe amounts of stress for the last couple of years. I've been worried about the times I sleep and when I want to get up. It's so hard for me to get up sometimes because, I'm thinking, what now? What now? It's always, what now in my head. Every day, what now? What now? What now? Thankfully, I have friends that I can hang around with that basically, without them, I can pretty much say I would be, dare I say, suicidal. More suicidal than I was in my 20s. I mean, here I am. I'm an artist. Trying to get a job. Trying to gain some benefits for myself. And even in the voiceover industry, it's so very difficult that, you have to have a certain charm about you. Something that basically says, I'm going to like you. Let's hire you. Can you do this? Can you do that? Well, to be perfectly honest, what I want to do is make people laugh. Not in a comic sense, but, I want to bring a smile to anybody's face. I'm looking at my folks' picture, and they have a smile on their face. I'm even looking at my picture when I was 7 years old, and I had a smile on my face, as well as my mom. I'll be honest. Last couple of days I have been so scared. I've been on the edge, scared of what to do. It's not the fact that, I'm a voiceover, I can find work. Well, yeah, I can find work, but, voiceover now is just so remote. And even doing audiobooks, which is the reason why I'm doing the Lunar comic, is just to get myself back into doing something that I don't mind doing, which is audiobooks. Or just something that basically, that can somehow help my current state of affairs. I was once a caretaker of my family, at least tried to be a caretaker. And despite my disability, lacking in adequate physical strength, I tried. My only claim to fame of sorts was cooking. These days I don't cook very often because I haven't been eating so much. This whole situation, as far as what's going on, has been affecting me. Scared me shitless. Especially with the funding just drying out. And I've been falling into scams. I know, I shouldn't be doing that. I'm smart in this, I know that. I've lost basically $4,000 from my stash account that I plan on getting back. I've been looking into a private investigator. Says they caught the guy. And to send me money back. And at the same time, there's so many things going on in my head. Like, when is this going to be over? When can I breathe? When can I just go about eating again and cooking something and just, for what it's worth, just when can I live again? Now, I know what's been going on with the COVID thing, and we've been dealing with this since 20XX. We're in 20XXD1. For those who don't know, that's 2021. Now we're at the point in which the CDC is saying, oh, well, if you took your shots, you don't have to go around wearing a mask. I'm like, well, until I get the word from on high in the offices of here in ye old California, I'm still going to wear a mask. No matter where I go, no matter what I do, I'm still going to wear a mask. It's going to be in my pocket, where in one of my pants pocket, or in my shirt pocket, or even in my coat pocket. Taking it out, putting it on. Take things from there. You're probably thinking, why am I so scared? Why do I sound this way? As I said, I haven't been taking good care of myself. I mean, I do eat, but sometimes I just miss meals. I'm still doing Let's Plays. I'm currently in, transition of still doing a lot of kamikame, and like I said, it is one of them quote-unquote finer things I can actually do for myself, because it takes the edge off of what's going on around me. And sometimes it's not easy to talk about what's really going on with me, because I don't think people understand the fact that I have these spells, these mental health issues that basically they don't see the light of, that doesn't seem the severity of it, that I basically worry. The stress, it builds. It always builds on a daily basis. And I gotta say another thing. I envy my friends that work. I really do. I really wish I was doing work as like a writer of some sort. But the thing is, the selections I get, they just aren't in, say, my circle. It doesn't click for me. Even, I don't know, it's like, I've always been a mental person, you know. I worked with my mind. Not so much physical because of my left side. My left side is, less than adequate as far as strength goes. The only other time I can actually talk about this, and I don't really say it very often, but I do mention my sister-in-law. I speak to her almost every week, or just about every week when she comes to visit. I don't know why she comes to visit, but I mean, I feel that there is a lot going on in my head that really wants to just be known. I have a problem. It hasn't been easy for me for the last couple of months. Maybe the last couple of years. Because for the most part, oh, don't worry about it, it's not important. It may not be important to them, but to me, it has become just as important. I think I mentioned 2018, I had a heart attack. An artery had to be taken out in order for me to live. A stent had to be installed in my system. I once took, at the start, 7 different medications. And they took me off 5 of them, because that was too much. I was almost going to be like the old man, taking that many medications, and he took twice as much in life. Me, I try to take care of myself the best way I can. I stay up late because, well, it's like this. I'm a night owl. That's what it all comes down to. I'm a fucking night owl. I stay up in the wee hours of the morning. And I think it's because when I used to do a lot of stories, a lot of fan fiction mainly, when I was working on my books, I used to stay up in the wee hours of the morning. So therefore it's like, this is me just typing up poems, stories, that sort of thing. Why I haven't done anything since then? Well, like I said, been quite difficult because it's been real difficult trying to simply think. The words escape me so many times. And even in some of my Let's Plays, you gotta notice this, that I flub up on some games, or my commentary sounds all flubbed up. And that's because most times when I get in the zone, I just like to stay in that zone for as long as I can. And let me tell you, even when I'm streaming certain games, I like to be in the zone and yet still be present around my audience. And it's not been easy. Even the last couple of games I've been doing has not been easy because I've simply been trying to get through it as fast as I can, as best I can, because I have this known issue of not finishing games. But I put that upon myself because, oh hey, this is what's going on. Even my backlog is still up there because I haven't finished a game yet. I haven't finished Tales of Vesperia. I haven't finished Sega Densetsu 3, and that's my backlog. I haven't even finished Ys 8. Again, on my backlog. I have games I would like to restart from the top because it's a new version of it. And at the same time, the one thing I really want to do is I want to be able to live I'd like to not worry about what's coming up in the next month and all these little things I gotta deal with. It's not so much the problem I have with what I gotta deal with, or more of the who I have to deal with, but it's more on how. That's more of a bigger problem than who or what. It's how. So I'm doing whatever it takes just to try to make something. And let me tell you, it is far from being easy just, being the Tenkaichi. It is not easy being the Tenkaichi. It is not easy being Pookie Izzy 7. It has never been easy. Trying to figure out what the next project I'm going to do, or what kind of requests I have, or even on that nature, if some people, whoever's listening or commenting or whatever, hell, even I wonder if people actually do have questions about what I do on here, Sometimes the comments, I can pretty much say, hey, look, this may not be perfect, but yeah, the most important thing is I'm beating the game, regardless of how I do it. To me, it's more on the how I beat the game. Less on the when, it's more on the how. Because it's always, how should I do this, and how should I do that, and where to go about doing this, and how should I take this on. It's always, with me, how. And even as I'm worrying about what I'm doing now, then comes the question of when. And the one thing I just want to say is like, when. Like, say, when I get married again. Hopefully, it won't be too late to where, I can procreate. if I still have it in me to procreate. It's hard being a man with such disabilities like cerebral palsy and epilepsy. At the same time, worried about a sex drive, worried about still being fertile, worried about how I'm going to manage a job. And more to the point, when that big break comes, what will I do with what'll be coming in, and how to go about becoming a better person from it, and do this and do that. And like I said, I always think about this. I hardly ever talk about it because it's hard to talk about it. And the only way I can do this proper is basically through YouTube. And spread it out to Twitch. Well, not Twitch. Spread it out to Twitter and Facebook. And I doubt many people will be listening to what I'm saying on either one. And if they are, I wish they would say something. It's hard not knowing what I gotta deal with. I mess things up, and I gotta fix it the best way I can. And the one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to mess things up to where it can't be fixed. I don't want to do irreparable damage. I mean, hell, I'm already damaged goods. I survived living through hell in Japan when I was 25 in a loveless marriage, and now I'm going through a different change in my life, which I don't want to see again. And yet this weekend, I'm following that. I just gotta be there. Mentally, I gotta be there. Physically, have to be there. Emotionally, I won't be there. Because my emotions are pretty much, as you can hear them, I've been through a lot. As much as I can be as all happy and goofy and whatnot, I want to go back to those days where I can be happy and goofy and all get out and, have that vim and vigor you hear from me when I'm doing my Let's Plays and everything else. I want to go back to doing that. I want that so very badly. I want to be less stressed in my life. I want to feel like I can breathe again. I want to eat a goddamn sandwich again. I want to fucking eat. I mean, really eat. I don't care. I can care less for restaurants. But I do want to eat. I want to go to Hometown Buffet. I want to go to Sizzler. I want to basically stuff my face in so much food that basically I want to let it be known that yes, I deserve that. I deserve food in my face. I deserve to just let it all out, let it all go, let it all just breathe it all out. Just just not think. Because when I start thinking, the worst comes out when I start thinking. I want something, anything out of what I'm doing in this life to be fruitful, to mean something. Hell, I practically just want something to basically make it all worthwhile. Even what I'm doing in the agency, in the voiceover agency that I work for, that I'm currently doing what I'm doing, I really want to make some money from the many sides and the many auditions they send me. I really want the part. As many times as I put time and effort into everything else I've been doing, I don't want to feel that my life has been a complete waste of time. That's the one thing that bugs me so very much, that I do not want to feel like my life has been a complete waste of time. I've been bullied all my life, only because of one thing. My left side is not like my right side. I've been bullied for this house. I was bullied in my marriage. My first marriage. And at this point, I don't care if I'm going to be taken care of at this rate or I want to take care of. Either sounds good because I am a good person. Most of the time. But I'm indeed talented. I'm a struggling artist, but I would love to be discovered. I would love for the first call I get to be, Mr. Izzy, we have a deal for you. We want you to do ABCDFG. Could you send us a sample of your voiceover work? We want to put you in our next big title. We will pay you X amount of dollars right on the spot as soon as you send us this one clip, this one line, these couple of lines. I want that. I want that. I want to see that happen. As much time as I put in, like a decade worth of putting videos on YouTube free of charge, I want that. I want whatever they're having. I want that piece for myself so I can take care of my things. I want to help out more. Even though it has been very hard for me to do so. I've tried to cope with what I had to deal with. It has not been easy. I mean, I may not have, say, a fucked up left side to where it will fuck up my mobility to where I would have to go around in a wheelchair. It's the one thing I cannot do, is I cannot act like I'm handicapped because I am handicapped. It's not that, well, you see, no. Somebody with cerebral palsy or cerebral palsy, take your pick. It's all the same. It's still cerebral palsy. I know somebody that has cerebral palsy. Y'all know her, Sheena. She has cerebral palsy. There are very few people out there that have it worse than we. But they get the help they need. And I need the help I can get. It's not just because I sound normal. I am anything but normal. I don't even go around on YouTube begging for money or anything like that, because why should I? I have Patreon, but what's the point of having that if I'm just going to be begging for money? Why? I should be getting something, but I'm not. Because the system is messed up. And as long as people don't get that, we out there, we all have issues, mental health issues. Even though we may seem normal, we aren't. And like I said, I don't know who's listening. I don't know who's listening in this house. But I know one thing's for certain. I hate the way I'm treating myself. And I hate the way I feel during this time. But as I've dealt with in my life, hey, I'm secondary. What's going on with me is not as important with what's going on around me. I mean, I was once a genius at one point. And now, I don't know what I am at this point. Yeah. I'm just here. As usual. If this sounds like I'm depressed or anything like that, I've been keeping all this negative stuff bottled up inside for the last couple of years. And part of me has been trying to keep it together for the last couple of months. And it has been tiresome and really, after all this blows over, maybe I should lock myself up in my room for the next couple of days. I don't know. Probably go out, sneak off the 7-Eleven, and just stay out for a while. Stay away. Just not think about anything. Just drop everything what I'm doing for the time being and just like, well, maybe just watch some anime. I don't know. Take a couple of weeks from my normal streaming schedule. Just come on down. Bring myself back. Dial it back down to, say, 4. I don't know. It is what it is. But just know that I'm not leaving YouTube or anything like that. It's just like where my brain is right now, where my everything is right now. I don't want to think nothing more than just, okay, let's get this over with. Whatever's coming in, let it come in so I can take care of this. And whatever else that's going to happen, let it just happen. If I can fix it, great. But one thing's for certain, I need the help. Simple as that. Hey, don't let this stop you from subscribing to my channel. Don't let this stop you from following me on Twitter, on Twitch, even on Facebook. Don't let none of that stop you, because sometimes I just need to vent. And even if nobody listens, someone is listening. Someone out there is listening if no one in here is listening. And even if they are, my headspace thanks me for doing this. So until next time, we'll keep in touch. More great content on this channel. Stay tuned. And I'll see you next time. I'll be happier. Don't worry.